Hey, this time, Baking with Jerry, we're going to make devil's food cake. I don't know how this is going to work because my round cake pan is missing. I just bought one. I don't know where it is. I can't find it. But then, like everything else in this house, I set it down and I can't find it again. So I've got this cake pan. Hopefully it's enough. You know, a regular round cake pan, about that big around, not that much higher. So hopefully I've got about the same area here. Now I put Crisco and flour and wax paper here. The wax paper will keep it from sticking, and the Crisco and flour will keep the wax paper from sticking to the pan. Hopefully, we'll see how this all works out. All right, so I got my KitchenAid hand mixer, spatula. Got 3 cackleberries here, otherwise known as eggs. I got a half a cup of vegetable oil, 1 cup of water, and just for a little bit of extra treat, I will put, this is softened butter. I leave my butter out, it keeps soft. I will throw a little bit of that in here just to give it that little bit of richer flavor. This is just a cake mix I picked up in the store, and I do have frosting. I was going to make my own frosting, but in fact I've got all the ingredients to make my own frosting, but I'm lazy and I happen to find a can of frosting, some canned frosting I should say, at the Metro store. It's an Ayala Mall, and Pillsbury chocolate fudge. Okay, so that'll go on after everything else is done. I got my oven preheating. This came out kind of lumpy, but it will mix in once it gets started. But it says it's got an expiration date of March 24th. Today's 14th, so I don't buy into the whole expiration date thing, especially when it's in a sealed package like this was. So let me get started here, see if I can crack these eggs without breaking them. I'm working still with a bum bad thumb, so I'm trying to do what I can here. Philippine eggs are not like US eggs, I found. Maybe it's something with hormones or something. Philippine eggs are a little bit more organic. Shells are not consistently thick. Some crack easy, some crack way too difficult. There's a shell right there, see? I end up getting shell in my eggs quite a bit. All right, I'm gonna put you on pause. I'm gonna go throw this in the trash. Be right back. All right, this Magnolia brand, that's a local Philippine company. It's from Cavite. That's where the company's from. So here goes the half cup of oil, 1 cup of water, and we mix it on slow for 1 minute. Get it all mixed in. It's really a running batter here. I'm pretty sure it'll thicken up. And I have a lot of these stainless steel bowls. I have one that's in the sink right now with beans soaking, so I'm making bean dip. And I just got another kilo of pinto beans today, so I want to make chili pretty soon. Chili will stretch for 4 or 5 meals. I put it in the freezer after I eat some. Alright, so I'm going to stop right there because I'm going to, don't want this chocolate on my thing. Just going to get a little bit of butter. and drop in here. Like I said, they'll give it a little bit creamier texture. Just wipe it off on the beaters there. All right, not a lot of butter, just a little bit. I'll just set this right there for right now. Okay, now put it on medium speed. That's probably not even enough butter to make a difference, but I think I'll throw a little bit more in there. Let's see if I can get this off of here without, yeah. I'm gonna rinse this off really quick. Another edit cut, right? All right, let me rinse this really quick in the sink. Like I said, as much as I like chocolate, I really don't want chocolate in my butter. Alright, wipe this off. Throw just a little bit more butter. It's about all the butter I've got for them for right now. Really don't want to have to run to the store and get more. Maybe just a little bit more. Okay, that's not enough, nothing is. All right, let me just wipe that off. I'll be using this spatula here in a few minutes anyway. Mix this in. Again, this is Devil's Food Cake. My experience, I've had a little bit dry Devil's Food Cake, so that's why the butter, see if I can get a little bit more moist, but without adding more oil. Oil's fine for some things, but there are some things that I really don't want oil in. And I'm supposed to mix this for 2 minutes, according to the instructions. Let me a little quick wipe down here, make sure that everything's coming off the sides and everything's mixing, that I don't have any dry spots. You can mix all day long, but yeah, and it's starting to firm up pretty good. I have my oven preheated to 175 Celsius. It's a nice thing about getting Philippine stuff is it tells you the temperature in Celsius, so I don't have to Google it and do the conversion from Fahrenheit to Celsius. If you're doing this at home, you don't have to, and you're not in the Philippines, then you probably have to Google it and figure out what the Fahrenheit conversion is. We'll do this about another minute. And I have the wire whisks in here instead of the solid whisks. The wire seems to get a little creamier, a little smoother. I do this with the brownies too. And I want to make sure this is good and mixed in. I'll slowly pull that out and start cleaning the beaters. You don't want it to clean all over the place. See, much cleaner. Okay, so I set that there. Now, I don't know if my oven is all the way preheated or not. Pour this into the pan. It's going to be thick, so that's the other reason I had the spatula out, because you got to scrape all this out. Try not to glare you with my bald head, but you know, that's just the way God made it, so I'm not going to argue with him. I really want to get all of this goodness out of here. The more that goes in here, the more that comes out at the end. This isn't a whole lot different than just making brownies. So it's all pretty simple and straightforward. Yeah, I got about 99% of it out. Then just kind of smooth it out here. Get it into the corners. This will all settle down when it starts cooking anyway. I just want to get as much off my spatula into the pan as possible. See another low spot over here. Bakers do things a little different than just like to say a food chef. So I have to change my thinking every time I bake. You know, like I said before, previous videos, my late wife, she was a great chef, but she did not bake. She told me she did not have the patience to bake, which is unfortunate because she's usually pretty good at everything she did. Okay, so there you go. It's pretty much in. You can see it's still kind of runny. That's okay. All right, we put it in the oven, 30 minutes. And we'll see how this turns out. Okay, so it's been about 30 minutes. Actually, it's been about 33 minutes. This oven cooks a little slower than most. Actually, it's been 34 minutes now. So, you know, take a toothpick. I don't know if you can see that or not. I don't even know if I'm on frame or not. Anyway, take a toothpick. I get these, they're kind of special and stuff. I get a whole package of them that are a little bit longer. And you want to stick it, whoa, yeah, we're splitting. Stick it down inside. It's still coming out batter on it, so I'll give it about another 5 or 10 minutes and we'll try it again. Okay, I probably overdid it on my time. I got sidetracked playing a game online. Alright, ooh, wow, that's hot in my face. Let's check it out. Dry, okay, so we can take this out now and put it on my little thing here on the table. Okay, so you can see it split a little bit. We'll see what it does when it cools down. I'm going to let it cool down before I try to take it out of the pan. I'll flip it over on its top and maybe it'll help push that down a little bit. And then after that we got chocolate fudge to put on. But can't do that until this is all cooled down. So I'll give it about half hour, 45 minutes, cool down. We'll be back. I took it out of the pan, flipped it onto the placemat, which was clean. And then set the pan down on top of it, flipped everything back over. And then there's some wax paper here. Mainly just keep frosting from getting on the pan. So let's frost this baby up here. Now I don't have a frosting knife. I might, if I do, it's probably still packed away in a lot of things. But just a regular old butter knife will work. Smear it on. We'll worry about making it look pretty later. Now, I got that big crack here. All right, well, we got that crack fixed, don't we? All right, so we're just gonna kind of just work this on. You know, Grandma, she always used just a butter knife. She didn't have one of those fancy frosting knives that people like to have. So we're just gonna smear this on here. This had plenty of time to cool off too, by the way. Kind of fell asleep on the sofa. Yeah, I'm a firm believer in naps. I don't feel ashamed at all if I take a nap. And we wanted this to cool off anyway, so not a problem. This means that my dinner comes a little later. All right, we got a bunch here, but we're gonna smear this. Schmear, S-C-H-M-E-A-R, schmear. This over here. This, we're coming down the sides here too. Okay. I got no problem doing that. Again, with baking, it's not about perfection, it's about the end result. All right, well, I'm going to continue doing this. You don't need to sit and watch me every minute. I'll show you what I've got when it's done. And I did break off one little piece right here on the corner. Not a problem. Frosting will fill that in. You know, this is like auto body work, you know. It's a little bit of Bondo here. You see why I've got the wax paper on here. It'll get down here right to the bottom. And then I can just turn this around and just keep working on it. Oops. Get the sides all covered in. That looks like a little hole right there. Get the sides all covered in, then I can smooth it out on top, right? This frosting, it's not like it hardens up or anything too fast. Like I said, we'll make it look pretty after we get all the sides covered in. Yeah, it's almost all done here. We're gonna have frosting left over. Oh boy. And who doesn't like frosting, right? All right, so basically what you're doing is just going back and forth and just making it smooth. You know, you can put the little lines in it if you want. If you had a frosting knife, it makes it a lot smoother. But I don't, so we'll just do what we can do here. Keep getting hung up right here on this one corner. I don't know why. You just want to make it fairly smooth. I see, don't see that crack in the top anymore? The cracks. A couple of them there. We'll just kind of go back and forth this way. Hey, it's all about the end results. It's not about, at least for me, it's not about beauty. The beauty is in the tasting. Let's see where I've got little holes here, so I'm just kind of going over it, patching them. And as this settles down, the next couple of days, shoot, if it lasts that long, I plan on taking some of this to church. There's some friends of mine, and they're 3 kids. So that's 5 pieces right there, cake, smoking forth. And I might have a piece for dessert. All right, well, there you go. That's Jerry bakes a cake, right? And I got a lot of frosting left over, but I've got some brownies to make. And when I do that, I'll just use the rest of this frosting on the brownies. Like I said, making a cake and making brownies, pretty similar.